Jason Earnhardt at Levels for Guitar introducing tablature reading exercise 1. And the goal here is to get you to read the open strings on the tab staff. Now I've included the standard notation above so that we can discuss the rhythm later on. But the main goal is to get you reading notes on the tab staff. At this point, you should know the open strings on your guitar. E, A, D, G, B, E. And on the tab staff, those lines represent those open strings. So this line represents the big E string. This line represents string A, string D, string G, string B, and the little E string. Now we're going to put numbers on those lines to represent the frets on the guitar. But since we're working with open strings, you're going to see lots of zeros today. And that's what that represents. A zero means that you play the string without pushing any of the notes. We call it an open string. So this zero here is on string B. So you play your B string on your guitar. It's that simple. What note is this? And if you said string G, you are correct. It lines up with string G. What note is this? Can you play this string right here? I'm just going to highlight these and then you play them on your guitar. That is your little E string. That's your B string, string G, and string B. Now tablature is a great way to find notes on the guitar, but it tells you nothing about the rhythm. And for that reason, I'm including the standard notation above, and most modern tabs will do the same thing. All we have to do is match the tabs with the note values above to get the rhythm. And so we're not worried about reading the note heads here. I've got a sight reading course for that. But we already know those notes. We can use these stems to determine the rhythm of those notes. So it's important to understand the time signature. And the most important part about the time signature is that top number. It means count to 4. This is a measure. It's the space between the lines. And each of these measures will contain 1, 2, 3, 4. They'll contain 4 counts, all because of that top number in 4/4 time. If it were a 3, then you would only count to 3. But we're working in 4/4 time signature. This is your first note value that you're going to learn. It's called a quarter note, and it equals 1 count. You have quarter notes from start to finish. Now you can fit 1 quarter note underneath each of these counts. And so because the measure has 4 counts, it also can contain 4 quarter notes. And that's all you're doing. As you play these quarter notes, you want to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This note here gets count 1. This note gets count 2. This note gets count 3. This note gets count 4. It's pretty simple. If you can play these notes to a 4 count, you can play this piece. It's time to get to work, and these are the 9 points to your tab reading education. And for those of you in my sight reading course, you're more than familiar with these 9 points. And this is how you break down a piece of music into its elements so that you can strengthen your weaknesses. And by doing that, you become much more efficient at teaching yourself how to read tabs. Point number 1, and that's being aware of the position that you're playing on the guitar. And today we are playing in the open position. And this is going to help your reading by ruling out any of the fretted notes on the guitar. You can focus all your time on the open strings. And since we are playing on the open strings, we can rule out point number 2. Now later on we'll be getting into fretted notes, and positions will be more important. And we'll have to use a technique called the whole technique. But we don't have to worry about that in this lesson. We're only focused on those open strings. Point number 3, picking technique. And that means you need to have a plan in the picking hand when approaching the tabs. So for example, if you're learning the tabs to a really fast guitar solo, more than likely you're going to be using alternate picking technique. So it only makes sense that you would practice your tabs with alternate picking. Now, if you're a classical guitarist or a flamenco guitar player and you're using fingerstyle technique, it might make more sense to put the thumb on the basses and the fingers on the treble strings. Either way you look at this piece of music, you need to have a plan when approaching it from the picking perspective. In point number 4, we're going to focus on counting the rhythms on the page. So you can put away your guitar, get out a pencil, and I want you to tap that pencil to counts 1, 2, 3, 4 on the page to represent that top number in 4/4 time signature. And we're going to be doing this at 60 beats per minute on the metronome. And you need to make sure that your voice syncs up perfectly with those clicks. If your voice is happening just a little after or before the click, it means you need to practice. But this is going to help you to count in perfect rhythm. Okay, to demonstrate, I'm going to work with you in measures 1 through 8, and then you can do the rest on your own if you feel the need to practice more. I'll give a 4 count, and we'll begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Point number 5 is all about identifying notes on the tab staff. So you can put away your guitar, get out the music, and I want you to look at a random note and identify it, just like this. E, D, A, G, B, D, E. And doing that will keep you from memorizing the order of the notes. That way you're focused on learning the notes on the tab staff. So I'm going to erase all these. I'm going to point to a note and then you identify it. And this is something that you can do on your own time. So when you're on the airplane, you can look at a note and identify it. You don't need your guitar for this exercise. So what is the name of this string right here? What's the name of this note right there? I'm just going to keep on going. E, G, D, and one more. How about E? In point number 6, we're going to be identifying the note names on the tab staff in rhythm. So once again, you can put away your guitar, get out a pencil and the music, and you're going to tap that pencil to counts 1, 2, 3, 4 to represent that top number in 4/4 time signature. And as you're tapping that pencil, you're identifying the note names on the tab staff. E, B, E, G. Just like that. And you're going to say those note names along with the metronome at 60 beats per minute. So you need to say those note names right on that click. Now, if this is too fast, you can always slow it down. So to demonstrate, I'm going to work with you in measures 1 through 8. But if you need to slow me down, you can slow me down on the media player. One trick here is to teach your eyes to look ahead. That's actually point number 9 on that list. And so you need to go slow enough so that as you're saying this note, you're looking ahead to this note so that you can say it in time when that next click happens. And sometimes you have to slow the metronome down for that to happen. But it's much like reading a book. So when you're reading a paragraph or a sentence, You're looking at 2 or 3 words ahead as you scan the page. Okay, I'm going to set the metronome to 60 beats per minute. I'll give a 4 count, and we'll begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, B, E, G, B, G, B, D, G, D, G, A, D, A, D, E, E, A, E, D, A, D, A, G, D, G, D, B, G, B, G, E. In point number 7, you're going to say and play the tabs with your guitar. And at first, you can look at a random note, identify it with your voice, and play it on the guitar. And do so in a random way so that you're not memorizing the order of the notes. You're just focused on note identification on the tab staff and your guitar. Once you get good at that, you can crank your metronome up to 60 beats per minute or slower if needed. You need to go slow enough so that you can look ahead and translate these notes in time. So as that click happens, you're playing and saying the note right along with that click. Now to demonstrate, I'm going to work with you at 60 beats per minute on the metronome. Now if this is too fast, you can always slow me down on the media player. I'm going to work with you from measures 1 to 8, and then you're on your own. I'll give a 4 count, and we'll begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, B, E, G, B, G, B, D, G, D, G, A, D, A, D, E, E, A, E, D, A, D, A, G, D, G, D, B, G, B, G, E. Point 8, count and play the tabs. And your focus is on counting as you identify the notes on the tab staff. You will count 1, 2, 3, 4 to the click of the metronome to represent that top number in 4/4 time signature. So in other words, you have to say the count, play the note, all to the click on the metronome. Now, if 60 is too fast, you can always slow it down to 50 so that you can train your eyes to look ahead and play in rhythm. To demonstrate, I'm going to work with you from measures 1 through 8 at that goal tempo of 60 beats per minute, and then you're on your own. Now, if this is too fast, you can always slow me down on the media player. I'll give a 4 count, and we'll begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Point number 9, and that's teaching your eyes to look ahead. You're learning to scan the page as you read these tabs. Expert sight readers can see several measures ahead of what they're playing. Now, I know you're not a sight reader, but the same process works for reading tabs. As you're playing count 1, your eye is already scanning for count 2, so that by the time you get to count 2, you've pre-rehearsed that note in your mind, allowing you to play that note in time. And to do this effectively, you need to slow that metronome way down as you're learning how to look ahead. So you can either turn it off or set it to a very slow tempo. It's a process. You got to be patient with it. Okay, that's it for this lesson. I'm going to get to work on tablature reading part 2, where we start playing notes on the fretboard. I'll see you there soon. Thanks for watching.